Yo, this is for you. I am my number one fan. For you, this is for you. I am my number one fan. For you, yo, this is for you. I am my number one fan. For you, I am my number one fan. I'm trying to get you from here to there. I'm trying to show niggas it ain't fair. How I just came up, but you not there. Stuck in the same situation you been in. They got the plug, you got the sound. You not just a groupie that's hanging around. They got the stage, but you bring the lights. It's enough room at the top, we ain't gotta fight. I am my number one fan. I am that legend you stand for.
What's up? What's going on, y'all? You know what, man? Every time I hear this song, man, I always get that one number one fan that just admires and loves the Neighbors Podcast so much. And no, it's not my mom. I know my mom loves us too. But it is our neighbor, Dawn.
Yes.
So I just want to give a shout out to our neighbor, Dawn. You know, Dawn, thanks for all the support and everything that you do for us, Dawn. And you are truly a member of the Neighbors.
Most definitely. And Dawn, we just want you to know that we will be talking with you, meeting with you. You talk about coming underneath the umbrella.
Exactly.
You know, we need to come under your umbrella because
you feel me?
You're a little bit bigger, and
yeah.
You know, your neighborhood truly is international, is global, and is probably interstellar.
Hey, you know what? I thought I did see a spaceship land on the roof the other night.
You know,
I didn't want to say anything because I ain't want them dudes in the white coats to come get me.
Yeah, right.
But I really thought I seen a spaceship over there.
Yeah. Yeah, Dawn, we know what you're doing.
You know, Dawn, we got something special for you. And I want all our neighbors and everybody that's in the neighborhood to be on the lookout because Dawn is coming to you live soon. Y'all.
Most definitely.
So, you know, that's our number one fan. We love you, Dawn. Thanks, Dawn.
So you know, we want to hit a hot button topic.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of white coats.
Yeah. You know, we're paying attention to what's literally going on in our neighborhood.
Exactly.
Is affecting literally every individual person.
It is.
Whether or not you want to agree to it or not.
Right, yeah, because it's definitely affecting everyone.
But this whole political climate is on fire.
Oh, man. And we ain't even begin to get to the point of the process of the vote yet.
Yeah, right.
You know, wow.
You know, so we want to talk about this whole notion of impeachment.
Right.
You know, I want to know, people, do y'all even know who was the first person ever impeached?
I don't know. Was it George Washington?
No.
I got an idea, right? But I know two impeachment hearings that I know of personally that I was around for.
Okay.
You know, but other than that, I don't know if any other sitting president has been impeached.
So, technically, there was the very first impeachment was not even a president.
Oh.
No, it was a judge.
Oh.
And it happened literally right after they started talking about impeachment and things like that.
Right.
Now, the first sitting president that was impeached was Andrew Johnson.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was basically based off of what our current president is more or less accused of.
What, lying?
Not just lying.
Cheating?
But not just cheating.
Fake news. What? They had all that going on back then?
Right. But
what?
The thing is that more or less what Andrew Johnson, President Johnson, was being accused of was just firing people that were just and that necessarily did not go against that was against his views, and so he fired him. It was abuse of power.
Abuse of his power. That's what I was just going to say. Wow. So wait a minute. So the very first time that they used impeachment was against a judge?
Yes.
Wow. So yeah. I guess that would, most people would think that because we hear about impeachment process only dealing with presidents.
Right.
So let me tell you what impeachment is real quick. Mm-hmm. The British definition of impeachment is a charge of treason or any other crime against the state. And then the U.S. definition of impeachment is a charge of misconduct made against the holder of a public office. So I guess that would fall under a judge. He might have been doing something non-becoming of a judge.
Right.
Or against maybe another judge or a political figure or whatever. Mm-hmm. So impeachment is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to sit here and attempt to think. A lot of people think that impeachment is so easy, but there's a process to impeachment.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't bring up a charge on somebody and then 2 days later they kick him out. No, they have to go through a whole bunch of stuff,
Right.
You know, and then they have to go through that. If the House brings it up first or the Senate, whichever one of them bring up the impeachment that wants to start the process, they have to vote on that.
Right.
And then they have to give it to the other party. So right now, what are we going through right now is that Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House,
Mm-hmm.
and she has brought the charge of impeachment up on the president, who is Trump,
Right.
number 45. And it's in the House right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going through their proceedings and the hearings as far as do they have enough evidence, enough to impeach him.
And I think that's the key. People don't understand. It's just an inquiry.
Correct.
Not even through the process yet.
Correct.
Not really, so, and people are all up in arms, and truth be told, this is truly dividing the neighborhood.
It is. It is.
Because, like you said, we haven't even got to the voting stage yet.
Right.
And once you, and even when we talk about those that are, of the Democratic Party, even if you think about those candidates right now,
Mm-hmm.
Each one of those is dividing even just the Democratic Party.
Right.
So in this thing with Trump, those that have money don't necessarily want to see him leave.
Correct.
Whether or not you're Democrat or Republican, for real.
Right.
And that, and then the Republicans don't want him to leave because once he leaves, it uncovers a lot of their crap.
Yeah, but eventually he's going to have to go, right?
Yeah,
so
but
the crap is still going to be there. He's going to be gone, but the crap is still be there.
But if you keep in mind though that if as long as he's there, if he's there for another 4 years, their stuff gets to be hidden for a little while longer, and they could kind of fix it. You get what I mean? And then until they figure out whatever their process is going to be, how they're going to cover it up, so for so on. See, that's why I think this whole idea of going to war with who was it, Saudi Arabia and all that type of stuff,
Iran.
Again, Iran. I'm sorry, with Iran. Again, that's how Republicans stay in office.
Well,
you start a war,
yeah.
but the war, quote unquote, unites the nation,
Mm-hmm.
and then he stays in office.
Right.
Right. Also, war brings in money.
Correct.
They get to print their own money.
Right.
So with all that being said, and people don't understand the whole political process and have not really paid attention, all of that is a cover up. It's just showing you how they cover their tracks, to some degree. If it wasn't for the war with the Middle East with Bush, I'm pretty sure that both the father and the son wouldn't have been in office as long as they were in.
True.
You get what I mean? Even though I think the father was only in for 4.
Yeah, he only had one term.
Yeah.
And then I think Clinton came in after him.
Right. And then he was in for his 2.
Clinton was for 2, and then the son came in.
Yeah,
but he was in for 2.
But again, that second term, and I remember clear as day, we had a coworker, and she was Hispanic, and she said that she was Republican, and she did not necessarily agree with Bush and the way he had gone, but she said, I'm willing to give him another try to get things right.
Well, a lot of Republicans don't like Democrats, period. So the one thing I can say about Republicans is this: they don't mess around. They're not nice. They play dirty, and they try to get the job done to the best of their ability.
Right.
Whereas though Democrats are passive.
Mm-hmm.
It's always turn the other cheek, wait for this to happen, wait for that to happen, and they're not too aggressive on certain issues when they need to be aggressive because we don't want to be that way.
Right.
We don't want to seem that we're like the Republicans. But you're all politicians.
Mm-hmm.
So I had looked up the word politician a long time ago,
mm-hmm.
and I had came up with this little kind of theory of what a politician really is, right?
Yeah, theory.
Yeah. So I looked at the root word poly.
Right.
Right. And in Latin, poly means many.
Right.
And tick is a blood-sucking creature.
Mm-hmm.
So politicians are many blood-sucking creatures.
Yeah.
And who are they sucking the blood out of? The American people.
Right.
You know, whether it's the Democrats or it's the Republicans. You know,
Right.
and the only way for us as constituents, people, American people, and people that vote, and people that have the rights to vote, can really get a leg up is to start small. And that's to work at your local elections, you know, work on that, put the right people you want to put in there and groom them for different positions above and beyond.
Right.
You know? But the way this game is played right now, it's like anybody can say anything they want to say and do whatever they want to do. Like your buddy just got on TV the other day. So there's an inquiry about him kind of pulling his muscle and letting Ukraine know, yo, I got this money for you, but you need to do me a favor.
Right.
You know. And I had heard a commentary the other day, and he said he sounded like he was doing a backdoor deal, and he was in the mob. You know, so it's like when the Ukraine president asked, which was a fairly new president,
Right.
and this guy is not a politician.
Right.
He was a comedian or something. He was very popular over there, and this is how he won. So they need money, and they're going to war right there at war with Russia.
Right. Right.
You know, which is funny because nobody's mentioning the fact that they say that they're at war with Russia, but they're not making the connection between Trump and Russia, Ukraine, Russia, and Trump.
Right.
Because what if Russia used Trump as their enforcer? So
basically, if you listen to Putin the other day, he was on a panel or something like that, and he talked about how he pretty much making a joke about this whole thing with Trump, impeachment, you know, our economy. Like, he joked about everything about us, you know, and basically making a mockery of what's going on over here.
Right.
And he basically told Trump, if you want if you want the information out there, just put it out there. Ain't gonna do nothing with it anyway.
Right.
You know, and for him to have that type of audacity to just say, hey, I'm going to throw it, you know, just put it out there word for word. Don't worry about, well, I can't remember the word, redacted, whatever it's called. Don't worry about even doing all that. Just put it out there and nothing's going to happen to you.
And that's basically what he's been doing.
And I think that's the mindset of a dictator.
And what was the next thing that he did on his next press conference? He had said boldly, China, I think you need to start looking into Biden and his son and there. So I watched something earlier before we started to record, and it was a split second, something that he had said today about he's looking for corruption. He's looking for corruption.
Yeah.
He's looking for corruption in the 2016 election and all this. And the more and more I hear him speak, the more and more I'm inclined to say that this guy has a little dementia. He is a narcissist, right? And like he's an egomaniac.
So I think George Conway or somebody like that had wrote up a 30-page document about Trump's mental state.
Right.
So here's the thing: if it's really that bad, why is he in office? Why are they even supporting him? Because to run a country, don't you have to be in the right state of mind at least?
You're supposed to.
You know, and I mean, I think that's why people are kind of coming off of Biden a little bit, because he's showing a little, age for himself. And I think people are nervous about
Bernie
Sanders with him being in the hospital and stuff.
Right.
So I think there's a little bit of nervousness about some of these older men being there.
Well, that's all that's been running this country.
Right.
It's nothing but older white men that's been running this country. So that's it. They put themselves in these positions, or the organizations that they belong to, that they align themselves with, put them in these positions and keep them there. Years ago I learned that the president was nothing but a figurehead. He had some power.
Yeah.
But technically the people in Congress ran the United States. Yeah. Right? So he is I'm gonna say he's the second, because Bush the son showed some power too. He showed, I'm president, I'm going to do what I want to do, and then in comes this guy who's like, I can do whatever I want to do anytime I want to do it. Right. Because he has a lot of, do you know he raised $13 million after they announced they was going to do the impeachment process? I mean, the inquiry.
He doesn't care.
he doesn't care, and the people that like him don't care.
No,
because you have to look at this atmosphere of what we're going through. Now don't get me wrong. Racism has always been at the foothill of America.
Right.
It is just as old as America as apple pie and baseball is.
Right. Yeah, right.
So, and a lot of people bit their tongues and held things in. But when this guy became president, a lot of those people allowed themselves to relax and let their hair down and show their true colors.
Well, so here's the thing. The thing is, he's able to exercise his right of free speech.
Sure.
Those that are along his line are able to exercise their right of free speech. For those of us who necessarily disagree, they're all trying to shut us down.
But it's right. But is that exercising your right when you're talking underlining hate stuff, or when you're talking underlining? It was a time when right before he got elected, during his campaign, he had told his people that were coming to his rallies and the rallies, right? Mm-hmm. He was telling those people that was coming to the rallies, if you don't see somebody that you don't like, beat them up, and I will bail you out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep, he said clear as day.
You know?
Yeah.
So if another candidate would have said that, they would have been brought up on some type of charges for that.
Especially if it was somebody like Obama.
Right.
You know, and he would have never gotten to office. They would have, you know, I'll be afraid to say what they would have done to him. You know, so I think that, again, our liberties, some of our constitutional rights, and keep in mind, for those people of color, still have yet to really live with the Constitution, Bill of Rights, Articles of, everything that goes with our rights as just a regular American.
Right.
We have yet to really been able to experience it. Now, here's the other part to that too. I listened to a song by Kirk Franklin last night, and while I was in the shower, doing my music thing and listening, and I was actually listening to these words and said, and part of the song says, "What is the American dream, especially if only 1% can experience it?"
Wow.
And so it hit me for a second. I was like, wow, in this gospel song, he talks about what is the American dream and how come only this group of people know what it is, they experience it every day, and no one else has it. And it's in the song where he talks about the $25 in his pocket.
Right.
I can't think of the name of the song offhand. I'm drawing a blank.
Right. It'll come to you. Don't worry.
Yeah, but but keep that in mind that that's where Trump is coming from, and he's coming from his level, his experience of having money and being able to do whatever he wants to do because he's been privileged to do it. For those of us who are, because if you also notice, there's very few people that has money that's really speaking up against them.
Right, because of
the
tax breaks.
Right.
You remember what T.I. said? T.I. said, I agree with all the tax breaks that he's giving. Of course, I got money.
Right. So.
But, okay, so you do have money. Mm-hmm. Now, the majority of the people that do have money in the world, that in the United States that's rich like that, get their money off the backs of other people.
Right.
Granted, there are some that are intellects and they invent stuff intellectually and they create and they do, but the majority of them is making their money off of sneakers, clothes, hair, stuff like that, where you're breaking the normal person.
But see,
the average person.
But see, I think that's where Killer Mike had mentioned there's always going to be a slave labor,
always,
slave class,
always,
and whether or not you call it slave class, low income, whatever it might be, it's always going to be that class. And here's the other part of that: everyone is not destined to be a leader.
That's true. That's true.
So can I sit here and say, hey, do they have to be considered slaves? No, because everybody doesn't have that mentality to be a leader, entrepreneur, or whatever.
I agree with you on that. But also, the other hand on that, the other thing on this is that when you always have the deck stacked against you, when you have things where you have subprime line loans that are so high, interest rates that are so high, where you can't make it because you are a different color or you live in a different neighborhood, and they just feel as though that you're not going to be able to pay this money back or however. I think that's wrong.
And I agree with that. The other part of that would be, what do we show? What do we, what image do we portray?
Right.
To the outside world, regardless of what the outside world says about us. It's a lot of times we fall right into that hole.
Correct.
Whether it's World Star or whatever, like some of the dumb things, reality shows, like, when I look at reality shows, it's like, why has it got to be us?
Because this is the only way they feel as though we can make it. So we don't want to teach that you could be educated and become this or become that, or you can own this. This is the only way you can make money, is being a fool.
Or
playing some type of sport.
So when we grew
singing
up,
a good song,
But the thing is, as we were growing up, those persons that were considered nerds were always laughed at.
Right.
You get what I mean? And not realizing that even the pretty girls, quote unquote, they were not necessarily attracted to nerds outwardly. They could have been inwardly, but not outwardly, because they want to continue to be cool and all that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So but now when those nerds are living in the 1%, and now all of a sudden, because our own people turned against ourselves, and they're married to a Caucasian lady,
right?
And now they're frowned upon, because of that. How are you supposed to respond? How are you supposed to move forward? How are you supposed to move the culture forward? And we're just using it from I'm only coming from our perspective of being African American,
right.
But for in the same vein, what about those that are Asian? What about those that are Hispanic? When you marry outside of your race, because your race was the one that laughed at you, because I was smart, because I was different, because I didn't see the world as you, a commoner, didn't see it,
right?
And it's not my fault that, hey, you're a dummy. I don't mean to say it like that,
but he's very sorry for that. No one is truly a dummy. Not even Jeff Dunham's guys.
But there's a thing where, and I had a conversation with someone the other day talking about just your gifts. What has been given to you. How are you utilizing that?
Right.
And I think, this particular gentleman, meaning Trump, he's utilizing what has been given to him, which has been money. I'm not saying he has any other gift. Well, I'll put it like this. He does have a gift. He has a gift of distraction.
Definitely, because he knows how to do that. He's been doing it his whole life.
Right. So he knows how to divert.
He is the king of the Spengali.
Right.
Watch the left hand while the right hand is in your pocket.
Right. So I think
he definitely is good at that.
And I think that's how he has been able to move forward, and those persons that's with him are operating in that same thing.
Right.
As we're concentrating on all the dumb stuff, impeachment or whatever else. As you just said, did anybody really realize how much money he raised through all this?
Yeah, he raised $13 million. Like in 3 days.
Are we really realizing how many other people are supporting him, jumping off especially the Democratic bandwagon and moving towards him?
Right.
Are we paying attention to how our young people are really still even more confused and talking about not even in voting again?
Right.
There's so many different things that with all this, as us being adults, quote unquote, they're like, I don't want to be an adult.
Right.
So the confusion is there for a reason. It is. As long as there's confusion and I act as if I'm the one that's saying, you're going to lean on me. And I think people don't understand that mentality.
Well, as far as the impeachment process, I think that it was, at one time I didn't want them to do impeachment because I knew that the Senate wasn't going to vote. They weren't going to vote him out. They weren't going to vote for impeachment against him because the Senate is majority Republican. So I knew that they weren't going to vote. But with him, I would hope that they would understand and look and see that, because everything that he's doing, he's slowly pulling them down with him. Because when it really hits the fan, when it really, really hits the fan, he's going to take a lot of people. And it also makes me wonder, what does he have on the top Republicans in the Senate and around him and his party?
I don't think he has anything per se. I don't think so. I think what it is what I've been saying from the very beginning when he had gotten elected.
Right.
Pay attention to the money trail. As long as you pay attention to the money, i.e. what T.I. said, I'm okay because he's giving me tax breaks, right? So as long as you're putting money in my pocket, I could put food on my table or whatever else, hey, I'm rolling where the money is.
So it's okay, Judas, to take these 30 pieces of silver and go ahead and sell Jesus out, right?
Well, guess what? That's what people care about. And not understanding like, hey, we're supposed to, love our fellow man, and all that type of stuff. It's not about that anymore.
Right.
It's not about that.
What does that say about us as Americans?
I mean, I think we're just greedy.
I always thought that, even when I wasn't somewhat conscious, but I always thought we was greedy,
right.
and that's it's crazy when you look back and see that.
And I think the other part of that is, most of the world talks about how fat we really are.
Right.
We're gluttonous, and I hate to look at it this way from my Christian perspective, but I'm just waiting for once this person leaves and the next person comes in. See, this is where they talk about the end of the world type stuff.
Right.
And right now it looks like the world is in chaos. The next person that comes in will be that one person that brings everything together, which unfortunately, depending on where you are in your spiritual walk, will be the Antichrist.
Right.
But those that don't understand that part, they think that he's the Antichrist, but no, the Antichrist is supposed to be the one that's supposed to bring everybody together.
Right.
And looks like the savior, quote unquote.
Yeah. But isn't that what goes on with these different elections? When a Republican gets in office, some people feel like the Republicans are doing bad, and then the Democrats have to come in and clean up. And this has been going on for years.
So I think, my opinion is that I can't say that one party is better than the other or fixes the other. I think it's all about perception.
Right. I mean, I agree with you on the party thing because, like I said, to me, they're many blood-sucking ticks.
Right, yeah, right.
Many blood-sucking ticks.
I mean, because I'm trying to think of what's the guy's name, Republican guy. But, but everybody has their moments of morality.
Who? You're not talking about Ron Paul, are you?
No.
Oh, the one that was running for president?
Yeah.
Oh,
but he wasn't that bad.
Yeah, from Utah. I know you're talking about.
But the thing is that like I said, everybody has their moment of morality.
Yeah, that's why, like the guy Ted Cruz, I really don't have no respect for him because where I come from, you're not going to disrespect my mother, my father, my family, and then have me endorse you.
He is about keeping his office and keeping the money coming in. I mean, for as mad, because I think I said it before on another show where I don't understand how Trump bashed Hillary, put her in jail, everything else, and they still taking photo ops together afterwards.
Do you feel me? Because there's no way.
Right.
There's no way. If it is a photo op, it's my hands around your throat.
Yeah.
That's the only picture we're going to have. Or you kicking my butt. But I mean, there is no way.
Right.
No way. That's why I think I discussed this before about that quote, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. No,
right.
You're not.
Right.
You're not. We're just using each other until we can kill each other later on.
Yeah.
Or get rid of each other later on.
And if anybody watches Power, I think that's what's going on with Tommy and Ghost.
Oh, but, right now.
Yeah.
Bit.
Yeah, but
as far as these impeachment processes going on, we know that this is it's going to be a big election year. So I believe that Nancy, she needed to have a show of force because there are a lot of people out here right now that really, really dislike the Democrats. Democrats because they feel as though the Democrats are not doing anything.
Well, Nancy didn't want to do it. She still doesn't want to do it. For real.
But she knew her hand was forced.
Yeah,
because this was really blamed, especially with this whistleblower.
And for the fact that he wrote her a letter or whatever it was, he told her directly that this happens. Like, all right, well, Trump, you give me no option.
Right.
You're basically telling me straightforward. Right. I hear from the horse's mouth.
I just hope that after all this is said and done, that in November of 2020, that we get out there. I just want everybody to vote, no matter who you vote for, because it's your not your God-given right, but it's your American right to vote. in particular people of color, because the people that came before us that fought, because it was a time we could not vote.
Right.
We weren't allowed to vote. And
right.
Voting is your voice. And you may not think that your voice is not being heard, but it is being heard.
I think that it begins this November.
Yeah, they're always with the smaller elections,
because it will take a very strong candidate to upseat him. I don't care who it is, you know. And you know what's funny though? There are people that's actually talking about, hey, that it should be Sanders and Warren, and they should right now knock everybody else out. And you know, it should either be Sanders and Warren or Biden and Warren.
I like Biden and Warren. Well, the top three are Biden, Sanders, and Warren. And actually, Warren is moving up past Sanders right now.
I thought she was in the lead above everybody else at one time.
She might be.
Yeah.
She just might be. Now, see, what I like about her is she stays on policy. Just like Bernie. Bernie stays on policy. What turns me off about Bernie is the thing that he did after the 2016 Democratic election, nomination for candidate for the run for president. He did not rally around Hillary. Yeah. So a lot of his supporters jumped ship and voted for Trump because they were mad.
Right. Right now they're looking like it's more Biden, Warren, Sanders.
Right. Yeah, I know she's coming up. It's getting strong. It's getting strong.
Yeah.
So we talked about, do we think America's ready for a female president, a woman president? Some people say yes. Some people say no. You know. Are we ready for that Biden Warren ticket or that Bernie Sanders, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren ticket? Yeah, some of us we're ready for that. You know, I believe we are.
I think we were almost ready when Sarah Palin was running. No, I'm just, but they did get a little bit of steam though.
Yeah, they did, but Sarah was.
No, I mean. Listen, I think a lot of people are like, "Yo, she is a pretty white woman." That's what I kept hearing.
Yeah, but if that's what you're basing your vote off,
I know, but that's
and I understand that America, we do a lot on looks and because we're more about image than we are about anything else.
Right.
But America, listen, particularly those in the neighborhood, those that come from our communities, listen, you have to take your time. Weigh the issues and see what these candidates are worth to you. What do they bring to the table for you? And whoever is the front runner, we need to rally behind them. That goes for if you're a Republican, a Democrat, whoever you feel as though that front runner is, rally behind them. My thing is, if you don't like Trump, vote him out. If you like Trump, vote him in. You know, that's as simple as that.
The thing is that you have to live by your decision, though.
Exactly.
You know, and it doesn't matter, as Arnold was saying, like you have to be able to pick one and stick with it.
Right.
You know, again, I know for myself, personally speaking, everybody brings up points that affects me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are some that has no relation to me whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so then it's like, how do I choose? Do I choose just for me as an individual, or am I choosing for the greater good? You know, so I'll give you an example. And I know, you know, y'all, we're getting close to that time where we got to pay bills, but let's put this out there. You know, so when we're talking about health care for all, there's Medicare for all, who does that benefit?
That benefits, to me, from what I understand, that benefits basically all the poor.
So,
and some that make money, but for me, it's for those who that can't afford health care or can't afford to get to a doctor's appointment. You know, they can't afford this. They can't afford to get their teeth done. They can't afford that stuff. So that envisions that for me. I think about like me. I like think about people like me.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I think that as they start talking about it more and more, I don't think it's going to benefit anybody.
It might not,
because of just they still, depending on who you listen to, they're still going to keep healthcare private. So it's still going to be the Blue Crosses or whatever else.
Right.
You know, so it's just going to be a variation of what's already in place.
That's already been in place, that already been set up by Obamacare. So for those who don't know, the Affordable Health Act is Obamacare. It's just called the Affordable Health Act.
Yeah, that's because they wanted to change the name.
They just wanted to change the name. That was it.
And I think that as you start to listen, and because I think one of them debates, I can't remember who the gentleman was who said he worked with Barney. Bernie.
So you got him, yeah,
with Bernie on the bill. He basically said like it doesn't cover everybody.
Right.
It still doesn't really work. There are still some loopholes in this, and I understand Bernie, he's, fighting for it, burning it down, whatever it is. But, anything you put out there is still not going to cover everybody.
Right.
It might hit the masses, but it's not going to hit everybody.
Right.
So again, you pick and choose who you want.
True.
And
my thing is just vote.
And here's the thing, whoever you choose, let's choose someone that we're not trying to impeach. I mean, I know, because that's one of the things we first started talking about was impeachment. Let's try to find somebody we're not going to want to impeach, 3 minutes in.
Well, real quick, the funny thing about Trump is this. In the 80s and the 90s, everybody wanted to be him in New York. Even after what he said about the Central Park 5. Even after him and his father went to court for redlining and not discriminating against people of color with their properties and stuff. Even after all the stuff that he's ever done to anybody of color, people still wanted to be like him.
But again, why is that? Who is his family? His family is a part of the Ku Klux Klan.
Of course.
And I think they said his father was, or his grandfather, one of them were. So that, again, those persons that speak the same language are the ones that's supporting him.
Yeah, but like I said, you have. Well, the majority of the blacks, African Americans, or people of color that do ride with him do have money, because it's only a few that don't have no money that's saying, "Oh, I like what Trump's doing for us. I like this." And what has he done for you? You're still collecting unemployment. welfare. You're still out of work. You're still whatever, but you're equating this all to Trump.
And see, with the other thing that again, another YouTube video where they were talking about how Trump promised places like Western Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, I believe, this whole steel thing or whatever,
the rural areas,
that hey, we're going to bring back that industry. We're bringing back steel. We're bringing back coal. That's the one thing he hasn't done. But the key is that some of the people are still supporting him, even though they said. Yeah. For what he has not done, has killed our town. For what he has not done, our lives have changed. We have to leave here. We have to find someplace else to live, find other work or whatever else, but they're still supporting.
Now, he reminds me of a thing that Malcolm said. Malcolm had made this statement that if a man stabs you with a 5-inch blade in your back, and pulls out 2 inches, are you making progress?
No.
And that's how Trump reminds me with these rural areas.
Unless you hit me in a major vein or artery or something and it's blocking it and I ain't die immediately, maybe.
Yeah, but I still have a knife in my back.
Yeah, you do.
But you put there.
But maybe I can get to the hospital fast enough. And
who says I'm going to make it to the hospital? You just pull the knife back to get some information from me.
But 5-inch blade, wouldn't that go right all the way through your body?
No,
I guess it depends on how big you are.
Yeah, it depends how For me,
I'm just being
probably
silly.
6.
I'm just being silly. I'm just being silly, y'all.
But you get the gist of it,
right?
Are you making progress if somebody stabs you with a 3-inch blade and pull 1 inch out?
I mean,
is that progress?
It technically is not progress because, you said,
you stabbed me in the back.
I'm still stabbed. I'm still bleeding.
I'm still bleeding.
I'm
and
still
everything.
crying. I'm still yelling. I'm still flailing.
But don't worry, I'm helping you out. Don't worry, Midwest. I got your back. Don't worry, I got you. You just keep voting for me, and I'm going to make sure and if I can't get it this time, I'm going to get it the next time. So put me back in office.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen, especially with all these tariffs and. He's going up on tariffs again with Britain, and it's just
but the funny thing is that even though what people say behind his back, nobody stands up to this dude.
No,
nobody.
They're not going to. And that's why they're saying that they having a hard time with getting Republicans who actually support impeachment to actually speak up and show their face.
What are you afraid of?
Because he's getting ready to fire you.
All right.
Well, even though he can't fire you.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think everybody's fearful that he's going, because who did he just say he wanted to fire? He can't fire.
He has fired, and I wish I could look it up real quick before we go, but I believe he has fired over 2/3 of his administration in the last 3 years.
Yeah, no, he did, but I can't remember. Recently, he wanted to fire somebody, and I can't remember who. Oh, who was it? He cannot. If y'all know who it is, please comment.
Please
say something about it. But he just mentioned somebody who he can't even touch.
And also let us know about how you feel about this impeachment. Let me know how you feel about this president and the proceedings. And, who do you like if you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican, who do you like as far as this next 2020 presidential election? And make sure that you guys know that November 5th, we're doing, it's not midterms. It may be midterms in some counties, and it may be some primaries in some counties for different, because I know like in Philadelphia, it's their mayor, the sheriff, and that, those big things like that. Go out and vote.
Yeah,
just get out
what
and
it comes
vote.
down to. Just,
it's your right. It's your right. It's
Right.
your duty as an American.
Especially
to vote.
now.
No matter who you want to vote for, vote.
Here's the thing, though. Hopefully, and within the next couple of years, I know they keep looking at it, they'll get rid of this electoral college.
Yeah.
Because once they do that, then your voice really will be heard.
Right.
And, we won't have to worry about, oh, yeah, he won the popular vote. Or, I'm sorry, she won the popular vote, and he won the electoral college.
Right.
So, because technically Hillary would have been the president.
Exactly.
So we would, even Gore would have been the president.
Right. Right.
So that's happened twice within the last 10, 12, 20 years, where that electoral college did not speak for the people, basically. So, but yeah, always, like, share. If you have not subscribed to us, subscribe.
That's right.
And then share it again. To our number one fan, you will always be our number one, not just our fan, but you will always be our number one neighbor.
That's right.
Now, that's not to discriminate against all of our other neighbors out there.
We love y'all too.
Now, the only thing is that this one particular neighbor, she lives literally on our block.
Right.
And we see her every time. I mean, every time we see her, she's giving us a shout out. She's always giving us a shout out on her Facebook Live, and we love her for that.
That's right.
So I'm going to say your name, DAWN. That's in DAWN.
That's Dawn.
But again, we love all of our neighbors out there.
Yes, we do.
And make sure y'all comment on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or share our profile or whatever. And be sure that you can always go to our website at www.thenayborspodcast.com, and you can always get our merch too.
Yep.
But we love y'all, of course. It's that time. I know we a little long today, y'all.
It's all right. But, in the immortal words of the first person I ever heard that was up for impeachment proceedings or some type of process,
right?
I am not a crook. Tell me who he is, y'all.
And because we're not crooks, we got to go pay some bills.
Exactly.
So, literally. So, we love y'all. And we will hit y'all up a little later.
Peace.
You are the agent and we look for change. You conquered the pressure and you did not fall, but you are a diamond and what's more than gold.